And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big John McCarthy.
As Gene Wilder said in Young Frankenstein, it's alive. We're live, Josh Thompson. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good,
for us
man.
to get going. Let's go, baby.
I got a little something going on, man. I'm not sure if it's the HIV or if I've just got like a little cold, but HIV. I don't know, man. Something's going on. I feel a little congestion in the face. Throat's getting a little kind of horsey, I think.
I don't know what your idea of HIV is.
Yeah, it's a bad joke, John.
That's more than a stuffy nose.
Yeah, it can be, but the funny part is
stuffy somewhere else for a while to get the
HIV. if you got the HIV, man, good thing about it is you can only get it once, unless you're Magic Johnson.
If you get the HIV, you might have been filmed by P. Diddy.
Diddy. Oh no. Oh man, we had a good interview today with Michael Kroger, man, from Nickelback.
We did.
It was
Michael's
awesome,
a good man. I've known him for a while. He's just a sweetheart of a guy, man. But he loves Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. He loves MMA, and he knows what he's talking about. He's just a guy that very, very down to earth. You never know what he's done, but man, he's had a hell of a career.
It was fun. It's fun talking to people that are, he's a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. He obviously doesn't get to train a whole lot during tour season.
No.
Because look, if I get hurt, it's just like everyone's
the bassist is out.
Yeah. So it doesn't work. So it costs a lot of money if he gets hurt on the road. So he chooses not to train really when he's on the road. So when he gets back, he's like, I'm out of shape. I'm fat. I'm this. I'm that. Anyways, I don't want to spoil it, but that episode is going to drop probably early next week. We've got a couple other episodes for you guys that you guys can listen to as well. If you guys haven't listened to the Tim Welsh one, that dropped yesterday. Great show, man. I mean, it's doing well in numbers wise, but just a fun show, man. Talking to him about Sean O'Malley and the breakdown of what he felt went on that night. In Noche, and it was good to kind of get the coach's opinion on the experience that they went through in terms of walking into the venue, the prep going into the fight, all the things that led into it. And that was actually a really great interview. We also dropped Greg Jackson today. That was a great one too. Fun, more flow, I think, a little bit with him because we're all old, so we can relate with Greg a little bit more than we can with Tim.
Been around each other a little longer.
Yeah. So, I mean, we've known Greg forever. I mean, I can't even remember the first time I saw Greg. It was probably like, I'd say in 2001 or 2 is, I think, the first time I really remember meeting him. It was a long time ago.
I don't think it was 2001 or 2, but probably somewhere around 2005. Yeah,
Really?
2004, 2005. Yeah, because that's when he was coming. 2004, he was doing a lot of shows like King of the Cage and things like that.
Well, John, I was still going to those shows.
I wasn't fighting.
I wasn't fighting in those shows, but I was still going to those shows because all of our younger guys were fighting on that stuff.
True.
Yeah, I remember him being around, man. I mean, I never really talked to him a whole lot, but I remember meeting him a couple times. But man, a great interview, fun to talk to, just down to earth guy,
He's always been one of the just most humble and intelligent guys. We would sit together. It's funny because you and I got together based upon obviously we were working for the same company, but we just started sitting down and talking, and it was like you would say something like, "Oh no, come on," and I'd say something. You go, "Oh no, come on," and we go back and forth. And it was the same thing that happened. Greg and I just hit it off because he would ask a question, I would answer. He goes, well, that's a good way of putting. I understand what you're saying now, but what about this? And he would always say, what about this? He got the nickname Yoda because he's always thinking. He'll tell you because he's got big ears, but he's definitely got a big brain between those ears.
One of my funnest interviews, and I mean, I didn't even realize the time had passed so much, is the one we did with Kenny Florian. And it's just so fun to talk to guys that were in my weight class. Dean Thomas, the same interview with him. Jens Pulver. We got lucky enough to interview all three of them pretty much back to back to back. And man, just the knowledge that they had, the history they've been through, what we've been through as a collective group in terms of the youth of the sport and when it was still in the infant stages, and just talking about our experiences. If you guys haven't heard those 3 interviews, go back and listen to them. They're just fun. We give a little history lesson in terms of what we went through to get to the UFC, what we went through in the UFC, when we went through after the UFC, and then sometimes coming back to the UFC. it was a great experience, man. I think for all of us. And man, Jens and I grew up kind of in the same circuit, and that was fun to talk about.
That was the part that cracked me up was Jens. Introduced Jens, and he said, "I got a question for you, Josh. You had a fight with, and he knew your whole goddamn background there." So.
Yeah. Like I said, we kind of came up in the same circuits in that Northwest area, and it was just fun to. I remember hearing his name all the time. Yeah, Jens, he can do this. Jens, he can do that. And then, anyways, go back and watch the show. And obviously, we talked to Sean Brady, absolute great person. So we've got a lot of new interviews coming up. And we just did Brendan Schaub yesterday. So that one's going to drop next week as well. We're going to cut. We're
working here. There. We're working.
Yeah, we're working on some new stuff for you guys. Trying to get you guys as many interviews as we possibly can. Yesterday we did Schaub, and that's going to drop. Probably Monday, and then we're going to drop on Tuesday next week. We'll drop Michael Kroger, and that's going to be a great stuff. We've got Luke Thomas coming on, man. Looking forward to that. That's going to be on Thursday, and we're going to drop that next week as well. We'll take some clips out of there as well and drop it before this weekend's pay-per-view because we talk a little bit about that as well. It's going to be some fun stuff for you guys. I'm trying to get you guys as active and as busy as we possibly can. So before we get moving on to the fight card, though, for the pay-per-view this weekend, though, I want to remind you guys this episode is brought to you by BetUS, man. Get all your best betting odds at BetUS. I want to thank you guys so much for supporting us. And go to YouTube 150. YouTube 150 is the promo code for BetUS. If you guys use YouTube 150, you get 150% bonus on your first deposit. And then on your next two deposits, you get 125% bonus. So all the way up to $2,000. You can't miss out, man, on that. Go ahead and try your luck this weekend. We're going to give you some odds, for this weekend's fights. But, man, it's all brought to you by BetUS. So make sure you guys use the YouTube 150 promo code at BetUS. And we're going to give you some of those odds. John, is there anything else you want to talk about before we get into the main event here?
Yeah, I'm good. I've been talking my butt off all day. I'm just in that position of whatever.
Just let it flow. Hey, those of you guys that haven't noticed, I'm not sure if you guys have, and I know some people have hit us in the comment section. We got Podcast Dave back, man. He's rocking the live shows on Tuesdays. So, it's nice to have him back, and he's still always a pain in our butt, but we love him anyways. But
you gotta admit this about Dave. It's like the one thing. It's like we kind of, we're flaky, and we'll do this, and we'll film that way. Dave is Mr. Structure. He has got it down, man. He goes, hey, you need to move a little bit to the left. Hey, you need to do this. Hey, come forward, come backwards. Everything. And and this is what we're talking about. Do you understand?
Yes. It's just funny.
I love the discipline, Dave.
Hey, somebody's got to hold it together around here.
Well, I'll tell you what, it ain't easy. You got to have more than two hands.
I'm falling apart over here. I was looking at myself in the mirror the other day. I got some cottage cheese going around the belly now.
Oh, baby.
I'm like, ooh, it's getting a little wrinkly, buddy. I got to start working out. So kids are back in school, sports are full go. So I don't know. We'll make it work. I got to get these workouts in, man. Got to work out. John, let's go ahead and jump right into the main event, man. Look, we talked with Brendan about it a little bit. We're going to talk with Luke Thomas tomorrow about it, Thursday about it. I'm going to get their opinion on it. We're going to drop their opinions on this main event and co-main event, though, before the fights happen this weekend. But, there is a lot of talk right now going around that Khalil Rountree is going to starch Alex Pereira. And there's some things that I didn't even put in consideration that Alex's number one shot in terms of his ability to knock people out is his left hook.
Left hook.
But Khalil Rountree is a southpaw.
Yeah.
That kind of
makes
I don't want to say nullify. It makes it a little bit harder though. Getting over the shoulder in the line of defense is a little bit harder on that near side. Yeah. Not saying he can't do it, obviously. And he's a technician, man. I was watching him spar with a world-class boxer in the heavyweight division, and he was looking pretty good. Don't get me wrong, he was getting hit with some shots.
Sure he is.
But
he can take a shot.
But he can take a shot. He was delivering shots. Now, the difference is what? When you're seeing a heavyweight boxer spar with Alex, is the size of the gloves.
Much bigger. The MMA gloves will slide through these things. Khalil Rountree's got the power, man. He's got the power. It's the one thing. Khalil is a guy that, first off, he's fast. At 205, he's a fast fighter. He's got fast hands. He moves inside and outside very quickly. Nice footwork. He kind of stays right in front of you, though. And it's the one thing that worries me about Khalil fighting someone like Alex. Alex is very good when someone stands directly in front of him because he does have power. Now, Khalil's got power. I don't know that Khalil hits harder than Alex, but he's close, which means that both guys can do damage and put their opponent out. And I honestly think that's what's going to happen. I think you're not going to see any takedowns. You're not going to see anything, as far as guys really clinching a lot in this. I think you're going to see basically a very, a small gloved MMA kickboxing match where it goes a lot longer than the 3-minute rounds. And it's going to be who is able to touch someone and hurt them and put them away. And they both have that ability. And I agree with you. The southpaw of Khalil raises some concerns if you're in Alex's corner. And it's the way that he attacks, with the volume that he attacks with, the kicks that he lands. He's a problem. And I'm really surprised on the, not so much the side that you're talking about of people saying, hey, Khalil's going to starch Alex. I'm surprised by the people say he doesn't even deserve this fight.
Oh.
And I'm like, how can you say he doesn't deserve the fight?
Well, the reason why they're saying that is because Ankalaev should be probably in that position, and that's why they feel like he got skipped over. Which,
I think he did.
Okay, and that's where I think a lot of this is coming from. Fans, they don't seem to understand the promotion side of this. UFC's
not about
do
numbers.
Can.
It's not all about your ranking.
No, it's not.
It's about what do you do with that ranking and what fights do you put on that make people come back and want to watch you. Khalil Rountree in his he's got 5 wins in a row now, and what's he been doing? He's been starching people.
Yeah,
okay?
it's not only that, John. It's also too about the availability. Like if I offer you the fight, and look, and the Russian or Dagestani or fighters that come from that area there, they tend to want to fight where they want to fight. I want to fight in Abu Dhabi. I want to fight in Riyadh. I want to fight. I'm sorry, man.
No.
Sometimes the UFC is like, no, we're not going to keep letting you guys pick where you're going to fight. You're not the one making the decisions here. Now I know that, certain fighters have been able to do that and get away with it. But in this scenario, in this situation, in this weight class, Alex Pereira is probably the biggest star. Not probably. Sorry.
No, he's the biggest star in the UFC.
He's the biggest star. I agree with you. I think he is the biggest star in the UFC right now. And I don't know if there's anyone else that's really kind of scratching next to him right now. And so as they're making these decisions, we're gonna do what's best for the guy that is buttering our bread. And that's where they're at right now with Alex. Alex is doing a great job of promoting. He doesn't say much, but people love him. And he goes out there and does what? Finishes fights. That's what the UFC cares about. Khalil Rountree, what does he do? Finishes fights. Someone's getting knocked the F out in this fight.
I think so.
And so when I'm I go to Bet US for my odds, and I'm looking at the odds right now. At a -460 is Alex Pereira. Plus 335 is Khalil Rountree. I'm sorry, John. I'm throwing some money down on Khalil Rountree. Whether I think he can win or not, I'm taking that shot in the dark because he has a chance with the power. He does. Because look, even if I was to say Izzy is the guy that was able to knock him out, Izzy's not known for his power. He's got great stand-up, but he's someone that touches you and then has to hit you 2 more times to get you out of there. Yeah. And that's exactly what happened when he hit Alex.
And
he
it was also
him a little bit.
It was also at 185 pounds where Alex, I believe, was dropping too much weight and not able to get enough fluid back in his body the right way to make his chin strong.
I mean, that could definitely be a possibility, but I'm looking at more. Alex is hittable. He can be touched. He is hittable. He's one of those guys when I watch the sparring with the heavyweight boxer, he's getting hit, he's getting touched. He doesn't wear headgear, doesn't care about cuts. I'm just like, gosh, man, what the hell? But this is the way that he is training. This is the way that he is getting himself ready. It's the way he's trained. So Khalil, though, having the opportunity at plus 335, he's got the power, he's got the speed. He will be a little bit faster than Alex. Can he get himself inside and land the hard shot? I think he possibly can. Now, will that hard shot be enough to put his lights out? There's a possibility, but I'm willing to put $100 or $200 down to find out to double my money. I'm willing.
I'm going to say I cannot put 465 you said?
460.
Jesus, I can't put 460 down to win $100.
I can't do it on a fight that potentially could end in a knockout.
Exactly the other way. Exactly the other way. And so it's like if I was going to bet it, I would put $25 down on Khalil because I get a nice return if he wins, and if he doesn't, I don't feel bad about losing the $25. But You can take a
John's
look.
super cheap, Dave. $25. I'm over here $200.
Yeah, you're $200 on it because you're sitting in a way better position than me. You're bucks up. I'm not bucks up. So, but I mean, it's one of those. Hey, either guy can win this, and Khalil has been looking good. The only fight that I think you can say he fought Dustin Jacoby, and I think that was a split decision. But other than that, it's been finishes, and he is in that position right now where he's got confidence. For a long time, Khalil was one of those guys you watch and you go, he's just not confident. He's got talent, but he's just not confident in his abilities. He's confident now, and that's everything you need to be.
I think the Anthony Smith fight really kind of boosted that confidence because you look at Chris Dawkins, you look at Jacoby, Carl Robertson, like those guys are nowhere near the level of an Alex Pereira. But Anthony Smith, not maybe so much being on that level, but an actual person who's competed against the world-class guys and being like, look, I was able to get him out of there, in the 3 rounds or whatever it was. He was able to get him out of there and put him away. That builds your confidence going, look, if I can take the shot from him and deliver a shot, I could put him to sleep.
But didn't Alex fight Dustin Jacoby in Glory? I think they fought in a kickboxing match.
Probably.
Now I think Alex knocked Dustin out in it, if I recall, because I used to watch all the Glories and I believe that he actually fought Dustin. Do me a favor, Dave, look that up. I'm not sure, but
Yeah, Glory 14.
Boom. Yeah.
It was a round 1 knockout at 2 minutes.
So there's your one difference when you're looking at it. You're going, well, Alex faced Dustin in kickboxing and knocked him out, and when Khalil fought him in MMA, it went to a decision. But I think it's going to be a good fight.
Did you
I do think
really
it's
try to do MMA math after we just spent 6
I'm
years telling?
just trying to. I'm putting out the
trying to bring up
information. I'm putting out the information that I know of because I remember watching. I remember, I like Dustin Jacoby, and I love his nickname, the Hanyak. But it's a matter of he's always been a tough guy and a guy that he'll throw down. And again, the power of Alex is special. It really is. But I do think that Khalil has enough power. He can put Alex out too. So it matches up well.
Look, the odds makers very rarely get it wrong. That's why they're still in business.
Yeah.
And so when Alex is a minus 460,
there's a reason why.
There's a reason why.
Sure.
But there are things to consider in when you're making these decisions. The southpaw stance will be a little bit harder for him to land his left hook. That's one. The calf kick on the outside won't be as effective. He'll have to kick the inside leg kick, which will still be effective, especially if he kicks it down low by the calf. That could hurt like hell. So that could still work. We just haven't seen enough of that in the Alex fights. But if you want to take maybe a little bit easier of a road, you go the over/under on this fight, right? The under at 1.5 is even money, and I don't think it's going to go more than 1.5. I think it's going to be 1.5. So I might take the even money on the under. I don't think it's going to go 2 rounds.
What's the over?
The over is 1.5 at minus 130. You could take that as well.
Yeah.
That's not too bad, but even money on the under at 1.5. If you're feeling a little frisky, you want to throw a little something down, and you don't want to take the leap on the, on the 460 or the 3,
Well, here's my concern with both Alex and Khalil. Usually come out in the first 2.5 minutes. They're just, they're testing. They're checking for little, what feints is he going to fall for? What's he biting on? And they're both setting up to see exactly, what their opponent is going to do. So there's 2.5 minutes gone, but that still leaves 5 minutes.
Yeah.
I'm not sure it's going to go much more than the
1.5.
I think it'll go into the second round, but not much into it.
Yeah. I mean, but look, I think on this, we've always said this. If you have someone who is that big of a dark horse at plus 335,
you got to go.
Throw down $25. See what happens.
If you can legitimately say that person can win.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that they're the favorite, but they can win that fight. That's the ones you look and you go, all right, put some money on that.
Yep, I could see that. All right, let's move on to the next fight there, John.
Raquel Pennington defending her bantamweight title. I believe this is for the first time up against the former bantamweight champion when she took it from the female GOAT, as the UFC would tell you, in Amanda Nunes, and then lost it to her again, which, that stuff happens. But Raquel Pennington against Juliana Pena, this is going to be this is a good matchup. And if you recall, both of these ladies were on the Tough Show and competed against each other, kind of. And so they were friends. They were not friends. And now they definitely won't be friends.
Weren't they on the same team?
I believe so, yes.
I think they were on Misha's team, correct?
Yes, Misha's team.
Yeah.
But they're not going to be friends after this because Juliana can't be friends with anyone she's fighting.
She's got a mouth on her, man.
Oh, she does, man. She goes, which you gotta love.
Can you imagine what her arguments are like with her husband or boyfriend or whoever?
Well, he's got a gun, so it's okay.
Cop? Is he a police officer?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's just man. I can't imagine. She's sassy, man. She knows how to get under people's skin. Man, I've done a couple autograph signings with her, and yeah, she can. The things that
throw it out there.
If it comes to her mind,
she has no filter.
It comes out of her mouth.
Yeah, no filter.
So, but look, Raquel Pennington, very soft spoken, seems very confident as of lately. I think she had lost some confidence when she was going through a rough patch in her career. And I think now that she's built, she's become the champion and now she's building in her confidence. I think this is going to be a tough fight for Juliana Pena. With Raquel Pennington, she has a tendency sometimes to just not pull the trigger.
Boom.
That's my knock on her, man.
That's the problem in this fight. If she fights this the way she has in the past, look at Juliana, someone you got to get up in her face and basically show her, I'm not putting up with your shit. I'm not going to just let you come in and try to take me down. I'm going to hurt you. That's what Raquel Pennington has to do. She has to show her, I am going to hit you with bombs and make her second guess exactly when she's going to decide to take that next shot. If Raquel can do that, she can win this fight. If she doesn't do that and she is slow on pulling the trigger or hesitant, Juliana's going to be all over. And when it hits the ground, Juliana is very good on the ground. She does not get the credit she deserves for how good she is on the ground. And the other thing about her is, man, if you talk about a person that is willing to take a shot to give a shot, Juliana Pena is right up there with the best. I'm not saying it's always the smartest, but man, she's tough and she will throw. She'll come in a linear, straight throwing punches at you and take the shots that you have. So Raquel's got to be on her game and she's got to be able to set her shots and throw while moving, not just backwards, but laterally, and allowing that lateral movement to set up the good shots that are going to hurt Juliana.
Yeah, like every time Juliana Pena shoots on Raquel, she's got to make her pay. Like don't just like let her flop to her back. Don't be afraid also to jump into her guard and hit her a couple big shots. Because when she opens her guard, back out then. I used to say this all the time when I had my first fight in the UFC with Gerald Streetbent. Everyone's talking about his rubber guard. My whole thing was every time he tried to pull guard or anytime I got into his guard, I had to hit him with big shots. You got to make them pay. And as they open their guard to attack, just back out and pull yourself all the way out. Now, it's easier said than done. I know this. But every time she takes a shitty shot or any time that she's not successful, you have to make her pay. Hit her with a knee. Hit her with a leg kick. Any little thing makes a difference. Like, damn, every time I do something, she's always got the answer. That keeps that in her mind, that I can't be shooting raw dog and just shooting blindly. And Juliana Pena, sometimes she has a tendency to do that. She'll throw a really shitty punch and then she'll just dive in on the legs and hoping to get it. So I think if Rocky finds her rhythm and her stride, don't stay directly in front of her. Don't walk forward, cut little angles here and there, and let your damn hands go, especially after you stop a takedown. If you stop a takedown, bully her into the cage, elbow her, knee her, grind on her.
The big thing, think about on the exit, you making her remember you should never have come into that.
Yeah. I mean, I continue to go back to the Cain Velasquez and Junior Dos Santos fight, the second one. Every time Junior tried to get his back off the fence, Cain rushed him, put his forehead into his chin or his temple and just grinded on him, used his forehead against him, kept him looking up towards the lights. If you have your opponent looking up towards the lights against the fence, they don't really know what's going on all down below. Knees to the bodies, body shots, knees to the thighs, foot stomps, all of those things, they add up and they start depleting the energy like in a video game. You just see the bar start going down like, man, I'm getting beat up everywhere. They're not hard shots, but they're enough to piss you off. and man, start using energy and wanting to fight out of those shitty positions and wasting energy in those positions, trying to get away. So if I see Rocky doing something like that, getting after the stride, the other thing too, Juliana Pena will still be there in the 4th and 5th round.
Yeah.
Rocky sometimes has a tendency to slow down,
True.
let the fight kind of, start to take over. She needs to be the enforcer for the whole fight. She's the champion. You've got to fight hard for 5 rounds. Don't think you can just get away with 3 rounds. The last thing I'm going to say about this fight, Tisha Torres is on this card.
Is she?
Scroll down. I believe she's earlier on this thing.
How far
Is
down?
she?
Yeah, she is. Right
She's
there.
there, right?
I saw it.
Yeah, she's fighting
Against Carlos
Esparza. Her last fight in the UFC, Carlos Esparza's.
Yeah.
So that's another thing. The emotions of, I don't know why you would ever do that.
That's not good. No,
It's dumb.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Yep.
That right there is driving me crazy. Now I'm seeing I saw the card the other day. And I'm like, wait, is she really on this card? What are you doing? Like, we want to fight on the same. No, you don't want to fight on the same card together.
No.
Your emotions are up
anything
and down.
happens, and it can be the stupidest things, but anything happens and Tisha loses that fight, gets hurt.
Yeah.
That's going to be on Raquel's mind.
The other thing too is that if Tisha wins, your adrenaline went through the roof right before you fight. You're excited. You're nervous.
At least there's enough time, I think, between. But normally, you always want to stay in that even plane as you're talking about. You don't want to be getting the adrenaline dumping on you and everything like that. But
it's funny. We always used to say, man, it's so great to fight on this. Even with my teammates, it's so great to fight on the same cards as my teammates. I started hating it towards the end of my career.
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is horrible because I'm watching you, and I was always towards the top of the card. So I'm watching them fight at the opening fight, or I'm watching them fight on the prelims. And it was horrible because the other thing too is you also don't have your coach with you the whole time.
Yeah.
Your coach is in and out. He's not talking to you. He's not focused on you. And I was like, man, I don't want to fight on the same card as these guys. I want to have my own card. I want to fight on my own.
All about me.
Yeah. I'm sorry. It's a selfish sport. I started getting away from it at the end. I was asking for it to get away from it at the end. Unfortunately, like DC was making his run. Luke was making his run. So we were pretty much always on the same cards because Coker was cheap. It was like, nah, I'm going to make sure you guys are all there. I got to fly one coach out. That's it.
There you go.
So anyways, I'm looking forward to that fight. I want to see Juliana Pena do what she does, man. She's the aggressor. She's the trash talker. She brings the action. Can't be mad at her for that. Raquel Pennington, she's going to have to fight a hard fight.
What are the odds by BetUS on that fight?
The odds on that fight, Juliana Pena is a plus 140.
Really?
Yes. And Raquel Pennington is a minus 170. And the over on this is 4.5 at minus 260. And the under is 4.5 at plus 210. I think it's going to go the distance. So I also too, you don't think so? You think Juliana gets a submission, or do you think someone gets knocked out?
I think the one thing that I've always seen out of Raquel Pennington, when she fights someone that makes her work hard, she does tend to slow down. And when you slow down in that realm against someone like Juliana, it's a problem. And I'm being honest, at what you're saying, plus 140, I'll take the former champ.
I think so. I'm leaning that way as well. I'm not going to go in the over-under because Juliana does have the ability to submit her.
Yeah.
But I also could see Raquel Pennington just being able to stuff a takedown, getting on top, and just holding it there, trying to do body, head. I can see that, especially as they get sweaty.
Yeah.
But I will take the plus 140 because Juliana's shown that in rounds 4 and 5, she's still going to be there. She's still going to be pushing the pace. She's a wild woman, man.
Well,
she is wild.
If there's one thing that you want to look at, and I've always thought Juliana was smart for it. Juliana's a grappler. I said an underrated grappler. But if you look at what she wears a full. She doesn't wear just the sports bra look.
Yeah,
like a lot. She wears the full rash guard, and there's a reason behind it. It helps her. It helps keep that where you get a little slick. She can still control you. So most of the time she is not, now, she tries to wear that full. So it goes over the thing. That's a smart move by her.
Definitely smart on her part. Yeah. I'm going to go with Juliana on the BetUS odds at plus 140. Next fight
is Jose Aldo taking on Mario Batista, man, this is one of those ones. I think Mario Batista is ranked ahead of Aldo, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's, I think he is, isn't he?
Let
He
me
shouldn't
see.
be because Aldo left.
This is at 135.
No, Aldo's 10, he's 11.
Okay,
Yeah,
so he's
they're
right behind him
same.
then. Okay. Yeah, because I was like, it's just gonna be weird watching Aldo walk out first and then Batista. But Batista he's looked great in his last, how many fights. His last one was against Ricky Simone. He just tore Ricky up. He made Ricky look actually like he didn't want to be in there after a while. He had Damone Blackshear. I expect him to win that one. But this is a huge step up overall for Batista.
This is another level, John.
That's what I'm talking about. I love Batista, and I think he is really good. This is a huge step up for him against Aldo. And Aldo is maybe not exactly what he was in the past. Some bitch is still fast. He's as fast as any 135er out there, and he can hit hard. And if he kicks, dude, he'll tear you up. But that's slowed down for him and everything because he's more boxing centric now. But on the ground, he's still fucking great. He's a black belt. He knows what he's doing. His wrestling defense is fantastic.
It's probably one of the best I've ever seen.
Yeah. And so the fight's going to be on the feet. And so is Batista better on the feet than Aldo? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree. I don't. I think on the feet though, a little bit of the speed from Batista might kind of scare me a little bit. But Jose Aldo is a dog.
Do you think he's faster?
If not, they're going to be equal. And John, where I'm getting a little on this.
Every time that I've thought that someone's going to be equal with Aldo, he's faster.
This is true. You know what's weird is that he doesn't load up though. That's his thing. Is he literally just throws. The one time he loaded up, he got knocked out.
Yeah.
And that's the only thing. Like outside of that, he doesn't normally load up.
Yeah.
He throws everything nice and clean and crisp. Body shots. Remember Jeremy Stevenson? Stevens, like it just that type of technique that he has when he fought Mark Hominick just pieced him up. Just touch. I mean, beautifully done. I'm looking at Aldo. Aldo's a plus 110, John. BetUS has him as a plus 110 as the underdog. Batista is a minus 140. The over on 2.5.
Dogs all day.
You're going with the dogs all day.
Dude, I'm going to be barking throughout this entire show.
I mean, look, I'm going to go with Aldo as well at plus 110. I'm going to take that. The under at 2.5 is a plus 225, or you can go with the over at a minus 300. That's a little bit too rich for my blood. I think you're going to get some rounds out of this fight, probably the full 3 rounds. But Jose Aldo, if he kicks, I think that ups his percentage probably 100, almost 50% of him winning this fight.
I agree.
It changes the dynamic of the fight no matter what if he kicks. And then because
how
his
hard
boxing,
he kicks.
Yeah, how hard he kicks, but then it sets up a lot of his boxing. People are so afraid of getting kicked by him after 2 or 3 kicks that they stop worrying about what goes on above the waist and they start worrying about how do I check his kick so I don't get damaged more. And then that opens up his shots to the body and to the head with his boxing. Yep. And so I hope he comes out kicking because that will let me know exactly where I should be in terms of the betting line. I'm going to go with Aldo at the plus 110, throw 25, 35, $50 down, something like that. It's hard for me to go against Jose Aldo. To me, he's still the GOAT at 145. I love Max. I love Volkanovski, but I still look at Aldo and I think to myself at 145, he's the GOAT. This is 135, but it's always harder. He's how old? Like he's 34 years old, John.
I know. That's the whole thing. It's like, well, he's really not that old.
He's not. We've been watching him forever.
Yeah.
He's 38.
Oh, he's 38.
Oh, I actually thought he was
34, 35. Shit, I'm wrong. Sorry, guys.
Yeah. Okay, he's old.
But he is.
He just aged.
He just turned 38.
It's the COVID years. The COVID years.
September.
Yeah, he just did. The COVID years are like a blur, right? Nobody
September
remembers.
9th. Yeah, the COVID years. We don't even count that shit, man. We look back at that and we're just like, shit, what happened to us? We all became betas. Oh, Jesus. Anyways. I'm still riding with the dog though. I'm still riding with Jose Aldo. It's hard for me to count against it. I can't go against him.
Yeah.
Can't go against him.
I'm the same way.
Go ahead. Yeah. All right. Next fight.
We have Caitlin Vieira taking on Kayla Judo Queen Harrison, our 2-time Olympic gold medalist. Kayla Harrison, who came over from the PFL and just absolutely dismantled Holly Holm. It's going to be a little bit different here with Caitlin Vieira, but I think that Kayla has got all the talent in the world to put a whooping on Caitlin Vieira. It just depends on how that weight cut goes. She made it look easy against Holly as far as the weight cut. She made the fight look easy. If she does this again, stand by. You're looking at the next champ.
Yeah, I mean, John, and the odds are saying exactly what you're saying. She's a minus 1,200.
Oh,
yeah.
Man, that much, huh?
Yeah, minus 1,200 against Caitlin Vieira at plus 650. And the over is 2.5 at minus 160, and the under is 2.5 at plus 130. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm avoiding this fight. Stay away. It's just a little too rich for my blood. If you want to try the dog it all in this one, throw $10 down, $15 down to have some fun and have some skin in the game. With Caitlin Vieira at plus 650, you could pull $100-something out. Yeah, don't expect a whole lot. But I just remember people talking about how, she wasn't going to be any good. She's not this, she's not that. And what she did to Holly Holm. Now, I know it's Holly Holm and she's getting older. I understand all that. This is kind of more of a proving ground for her.
Yeah.
She's fighting someone who is, extremely tough, good on the feet, not super great on the ground, but still good on the ground, but not at the level of Kayla Harrison.
Well, if you remember, Caitlin Vieira fought Holly Holm, let's say 3 fights ago.
Yeah.
And it was a split decision victory. She got the win, but it was tough.
Yeah.
And it was a close fight. And then you watch it again. This is MMA math, but
John,
you watch what Kayla Harrison did in that fight. I mean, she looked like a world beater against Holly. And I love Holly. And if someone can make Holly look the way that Kayla did, it's saying that she's continuing to get better. And right now, I think she's on a mission. She was over in the PFL and it was boring her, I think. She was fighting the same people. They brought
in person 3 times.
Exactly. They bring in Aspen Ladd, okay, and she fights Aspen Ladd, but there was only so many people for her to fight there. She has a target on where she wants to be and when she wants to be there. I think it is keeping her absolutely laser focused on what she needs to do, and she's working her ass off to get there, and she's got all the talent in the world. So I would say stay away from that one.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
And Caitlin Vieira's gonna have
to.
The difference between the two of them is that Holly Holm's not going to try to take Caitlin Vieira down, whereas Kayla's going to get right into the clinch, right, crushing the space, press into the fence, and try to get the takedown. And once she gets to the top position, look for her to do some damage, whether it's ground and pound, whether it's look to watch her pass, whatever it is she's going to do. Caitlin Vieira is going to open her guard and look for Kayla Harrison to either posture up and do damage with the hands, or look for her to pass guard and get to the submission. Yeah. So, next fight.
Roman Dolidze taking on our man Kevin Holland, the man who fights everyone. He's always busy, man. This is a guy, when his career is over, people are going to look back and go, wow, that dude fought everyone. And he was fighting all the time. And you know what? He is. And he's making his money and he's setting himself up. And he's a smart guy. And I love what Kevin Holland has done with his career.
Is he the next Cowboy Cerrone?
He is the current Cowboy Cerrone. There's no doubt he is.
Well, he will not only in the rankings to be Cowboy to me.
Well, he will not only do it as far as he'll do it in welterweight, he'll do it in middleweight. He'll be that same guy. And Cowboy used to do that. He would go lightweight or welterweight, and he'll fight anybody. And
I agree.
He switched. He switched. Go back to when he fought Chimaev. He was supposed to be fighting somebody else, right? But he ended up taking the fight because he'll fight anyone. And that's one of the things that I love about the guy.
Yeah, he's got to get higher in the rankings for me to call him Cowboy. I mean, Cowboy was always in that top 5, top 8, top 6, top 2. He was in that mix for a while there.
For a while. When you say always, no.
Yeah, I mean, but at the end, he went up to 70. He wasn't at 155. Man, he was a fucking world beater. That guy, he could fight anybody, anytime. He'd fight one day, and then 3 weeks later, he'd fight again, or 2 weeks later, he'd fight again and beat somebody else. Yep. I mean, the guy was a stud, man. Love watching Cowboy fight. But with Kevin Holland, this is a tough fight for him.
Oh yes,
he's
got to be smart.
Yeah, he's got to be smart. He's got to use the speed. He's got to use his reach. Delici's got a hard head. He'll walk forward. He'll try to probably get this fight to the ground. He might try to bully Kevin Holland. I just think if Kevin fights smart, he can get the win. And I wouldn't have said that until I watched Delici fight Imavov.
Yeah.
I thought I was holding Delici at a level of like, damn, this guy, he's a bully. He can do this. But man, Imavov made him look human.
Yeah.
Just made him look like I don't want to say amateurish because he's not that, but I'm saying he just picked him apart, dominated the whole fight.
He had his way with him. Whatever he wanted to do was working.
Kevin's not anywhere near as good as Imavov, but Kevin has some traits though that could give Delici some problems. Whether it's the long range striking, using the push kick up the middle, that type of stuff could give Delici problems because Delici's what, John? He's a straightforward
Straight
fighter.
ahead linear fighter.
That's
man.
it. Yeah. And so when you're fighting somebody like that push kick up the gut or to the face and the long jab and the long straight right hands, everything being straight, coming right down the pipe's going to give Delici some problems. Now it's up to Kevin Holland whether he can fight smart or not.
Yeah.
But if I'm looking at that, I think that's a good fight for Kevin Holland. And look, Kevin Holland's a minus 155. Roman Delici's a plus 125. The over under on is 2.5. Yeah, Roman Delici's the underdog on this fight.
Okay.
Hey, Bet US, man. You guys got an opportunity, a chance to make some money.
I'm just going. I'll go with the dogs on. Except for Caitlin Vieira. Look, I really like Kevin Holland. I think he can win if he fights this in a smart fashion and keeps it on the feet. He's a much better technical fighter on the feet than I think Delici is. On the ground, Kevin's got skills, but Delici is a mauler. Yeah. And he's going to get past all of the submission attempts that Kevin's going to try to throw up and just smash him.
Yeah, possibly. I mean, he's going to have to get Kevin Holland down, which doesn't seem to be very difficult.
No. If you look at the blueprint on Kevin Holland, if there's one glaring error, in his game, it's his wrestling.
Yeah. I would agree with you. Hey, John, you know what? One of these fights that I'm really excited about is the next one, the Joaquin Buckley versus Stephen Thompson fight.
That's the prelim main event.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this fight.
It's a great fight. I look at it, I love Stephen Thompson. It's hard for me to ever go against him because
I hear a butt coming.
As a person, he is just one of the best. He never has a bad thing to say about anyone. He does everything right all the time. He takes care of the kids in his school in a special, he's just awesome with them. But he's 40 some years old now.
I think he's 41, 42, somewhere around there.
And he is slowing down a little bit. And Joaquin Buckley is a problem child for a lot of people. And he's going to be a handful for Steven. I'm not saying Steven can't do something and get him, but Joaquin can do the same back to Steven. Yeah. Joaquin is strong. Mm-hmm. Numanza he's fast, he's strong, and now he knows how to fight. At one time when he was fighting, he was out there just trying to wing stuff and not really understanding the fight game. He now understands the fight game and is fighting at a level that he belongs in the top at 170.
I also feel like earlier in his career, he wasn't committed to the sport. He was like, I'm going to fight 170. I'm going to fight 185. Yeah. No, dude, pick the weight class you're going to be the best at. You're too small for 185. Yeah. Get your ass down to 170. Make a run at it. He's now decided to do that. And I think you're going to see him have some success. The only thing that I can say, which we've said about Stephen Thompson, like we've said about Lyoto Machida, they're just difficult guys to prepare for.
Sure.
And he's going to see things out of Stephen Thompson that he has never seen from other fighters. See, when fighters use that cliche, like, oh, I'm unlike anyone he's ever fought. Stephen Thompson can actually say that shit because it's so difficult
until he fights him or MVP. Yeah,
exactly. Right. There's guys out there like, how do I fight this guy? They move so well. They lateral movement. They're long side kicks, push kicks. They use everything. They switch their stances. They hide their punches behind their kicks behind their punches. Just, it's a threat. Bet US has Joaquin Buckley favored in this fight at minus 200. Stephen Thompson is a plus 165. I would agree with you. They probably should, but I'm not going to rule out the dog. The reason why I'm not going to rule out the dog is because, like I said, it's so difficult for people to deal with him. 41 years old or not, the style is still the same. And he's lived such a clean lifestyle. If I had seen him at the clubs getting, jacked up and hanging out,
that's what I'm talking about. He's just a good person.
He's a good person. Yeah, definitely. Well, unlike me, I was at the clubs all the time, John. Next, is there any other fights on this card you want to talk about, John?
You know what? There's a couple that you got to mention. You already talked with Carlos Esparza is fighting Tisha
Yes.
Torres. Well, not Tisha Pennington,
Mhm.
but that's a fighter. But yeah, I got to go with OSP is fighting again, and he's fighting against Ryan Spann.
Mhm.
And you look at that, and it's like both guys super athletic. Both guys never quite reached that level that you kind of expected. Ryan Spann was almost there and then just fell off. OSP was right there and then fell off. But that should actually be a pretty good light heavyweight fight.
Well, OSP fought John Jones, correct?
Yes, sir. Broke
Did they
his
fight?
arm.
Was it for the title?
Yes, broke his
It
arm.
was for the title. Okay, I wasn't sure if it was when John was on sabbatical or something. I wasn't sure if
was
they had
coming off of a sabbatical.
Yeah, coming off. Okay. I got to give a little love. I got to give more love than what we just did to Carla Esparza.
Yep.
Absolute amazing person.
Yes.
I've done some autograph signings with her. I've been around her for a long time. She just had a baby, a little while back, but
yep.
Looking forward to living the rest of her life. I want to just tell her that the best chapter is yet to come.
Oh,
this is such a fun part. She has a baby now. She's married. She understands what's important in life. It seems like, and listening to some of her interviews today, and I think I listened to one yesterday as well. She's such a sweetheart. She's such a great person. And Tisha Torres, Tisha Pennington as well. She's a sweetheart as well. So
and a mom herself.
So watching the two of them get after it's going to be a fun experience. Obviously, Carla, she's already announced this is her retirement fight. She will not fight again. Good for her. And I hope she enjoys the next chapter of her life. And best of luck to both these ladies. And it should be a fun experience.
She's got something that, she can always say. She was the first.
Yes, she was.
When you go back and you look at everything in the strawweight division, that is your first champion in the UFC ever. So
crazy, right?
Never change. Yeah.
Hey guys, before we move on, I want to remind you guys that this episode is brought to you by LMNT. This is the stuff right here.
I just got a box full.
I just got a box as well. And so, did you get a box of the powder? Or did you get a box of the cans?
Powder.
Oh, so they sent me two boxes of cans.
You know what? I'm getting a little pissed off about what is occurring here.
I'm going to take this over a pallet
and put on my Element hat.
There you go.
See,
what I like is, look, just like in other hydration companies, they actually have them in the mix, which is what I love. The grapefruit one, believe it or not, John actually likes the grapefruit.
Dude, and I hate grapefruit.
You hate grapefruit normally, but you like the grapefruit.
I love the grapefruit of Element. Yeah.
So I say Element, but it's LMNT. Element is the way that they use it. Yeah, there you go, right there. But I love the packets. Carry them with me everywhere. And I actually have been doing this lately. I've been using the Topo Chico, which is like the seltzer, and I've been putting. It's so good, John. And I've been putting it in there. Got to be careful because it kind of fizzes up, so don't do it in your car. But man, it's awesome. It tastes just like the ones that they sent me in the can because I ran out of it, so I was trying to improvise. And so
it worked.
It worked great. It got a little all over my lap, in the car, but it was. I was like, oh shit! What I was, trying to slurp it down. I couldn't get it down fast enough. So, but yeah, man. So they have the packets. They got the citrus flavor, got raspberry, which is the one I have in my hand right now, and then they have they've got chocolate flavors as well. They go in people's coffees and things like that. So, some people, like for me, when I use the chocolate one, I can't do a whole packet. It's a little too salty for me.
I do the whole packet in my coffee.
Do you?
Yeah.
Man, they don't make men like you anymore. Jeez. I mean, I'm not far behind you, but man, I'm far enough to realize that I couldn't do the whole packet in my coffee. Now I can, because the coffee's only, you get a cup of coffee that's say it's 12 ounces or 16 ounces. Yeah. It's just a little bit too strong for me. Yeah. But I can do the packets in the water just fine. But the chocolate and the coffee is just not enough. I need a little bit more liquid to mix it with. But man, I love the product. It's got 1,000 milligrams of sodium, got 200 milligrams of potassium, 660 milligrams of magnesium, which your body needs. You just got to be honest with you guys, man. My career changed when I started salt loading in the morning. This is exactly what it is. When you start going to training, salt load in the morning, use this Element. Great product. I fully endorse it because I use it on a daily basis. I know John does now. When I first sent it to John, what were your thoughts, John?
Oh, goddamn. It's a little salty.
Yeah. But now what?
It's exactly what you're saying, though, is I started taking it after I was like getting dehydrated, and it helped. But it was way better when I would just take it early in the morning and then go out and do something and then take another one. Completely changed my ability to just continue on.
Yep. Exactly. Your body needs sodium to continue on when you're working hard out in the weather or playing a sport or training jiu-jitsu, kickboxing, whatever it is. You're depleting yourself. So go ahead and put that magnesium, potassium, and sodium back into your body with Element. Check it out, man.
Yeah.
John, what else we got? Or Dave, sorry, what else we got?
Let's look at super chats here. We got a couple of super chats. No questions, but I'll just read them off anyway. NKS432 says Alex is craftier like a chess master. So that was just a comment during the main event fight. YTB99 super chatted. Only chance Khalil has is because Alex is near 40. Don't know if you agree or disagree with that. And then YTB99 also super chats. Buckley, Holland, and Span are fighting guys 35 years plus. Is there any response to any of those comments?
The last one. I mean, you are fighting guys that are 35 years plus, but you've got to look at the guys that you're fighting though. They're tough, man. They're tough fighters. They've been around the block. They know how to fight. Now, those are the guys that are still dangerous. Doesn't matter how old they are. They can still get the job done. I mean, you go back and watch my shitty ass fight with Tony Ferguson, being 37 years old at the time, it's a shitty fight, but he was on the come up and I was on the way down, and he was kind of the one that exposed that I was on the way down. And it's that feeling of like, look, you're going to meet those guys. I could have stayed fighting in the UFC. I could have stayed fighting, even longer and just been the guy like where Jim Miller is. I didn't want to be that guy, and nothing, not knocking any of those guys, but there's guys that still have the desire to be that person. Randy Couture went on, kept fighting because he had the desire still in him to compete, still wanted to train, still wanted to be in the gym with the fellas, still wanted to grind it out against the wall, and get these wins and show that he can compete. I have no problem with that whatsoever. If people want to do it, do it. It wasn't for me. I lost the interest in going out there and doing it. Towards the end there, I just started realizing like, man, I wasn't as fun as it used to be. I enjoyed winning. And when I wasn't winning, it made it even, I didn't enjoy it anymore. And so that's where my career came. A lot of these guys, you're fighting guys that are 35 plus, whether it's Stephen Thompson, Jose Aldo, whatever it is, like, it doesn't matter, man. They're studs. These guys have been around. Stephen Thompson's fought for the title, 2 or 3 times? Jose Aldo was the champ for like 11 years undefeated or something. I mean, I'm sorry, but that guy's probably forgot more about the sport than Batista's learned. And I'm just being honest.
That's true.
I mean, it's true. Jose Aldo is a fucking savage. And the guy I can't believe people are just combing over him already. Like, oh man, he's all washed. He's old. Yeah, sure. He's old, but damn, he's so good. Still so good. Still.
Many times people watch young fighters come up, and we talk about it all the time. I always say, I call it taking the pelt, meaning, it's like look at a lion is only the king of its pride for so long until another lion comes around and takes its pelt. Mm-hmm. Okay. And it's going to happen, but you many times see that old lion taking that young lion and fucking it up.
Yeah.
Okay. Because that young lion is not prepared for the amount of knowledge and skill that old fighter still possesses. Yes, they're not as good as they once were, but they're still banging on all cylinders. It's just not quite at the same, it's a couple more miles on the chassis, but they can still go. And I mean, you can take a look at these. I'm being honest when I sit there and I look at, Batista, and I think he's good. I really enjoy watching him. He's a young stud, but I do think that he has not faced a level of competition that puts him in a position to be ready for what Aldo brings. And I don't care what age Aldo's at. If he's doing it the way I saw him when he came back and put it on Jonathan Martinez, trust me.
Yeah.
Batista's got his hands full.
Yeah. Hey guys, before we move on, because I know we got some super chats in there, and I want to thank you guys so much for giving us the tips. We appreciate that. But before we move on, I want to make sure you guys understand we're back over on OnlyFans, and we have continued our partnership with them for another year. Make sure you guys head on over there, subscribe to us. It is free. John and I are doing some extra content over there for you guys, and I'm trying to put all this formatted together so we can have certain stuff up for you guys. I will have some stuff that we will charge for. I'm going to show some techniques and do some drills and stuff like that you guys are training jiu-jitsu or some kickboxing that I'll be putting up. So you guys, those will be things that you guys can pay for, but then we're going to have a lot of free content over there as well. It is free to subscribe to us over there. I want to thank you guys for continuing to support us on all of our platforms. So thank you so much. And make sure you guys join our membership program here on YouTube, $4.99. And at the $4.99, we give you guys bonuses and giveaways for the $4.99, and for the $1.99, we try to get you guys as many questions and answers as we can during these live chats on Tuesdays. So I want to thank you guys for your continued support. Thanks. Dave, what do you got for us, buddy?
Zeke662 super chats. Since COVID, there's been a lot of miss weight. Should they do 40-60 rather than 80-20 on payouts?
No. No, the reason why I say that is these guys are, I mean, I know that they're making a lot more money than when I was fighting, but they're still not making enough money. And that's the argument. I'm going to continue to support that argument. I know that these fighters have signed the contracts that put them in the position that they're in because this is what they want to do, but they're still not making a ton of money. They are doing a lot better than us old people. But in the situation right now, like if you don't make the weight, I think that you have the option not to take the fight. But I also feel like there should be something on the hook that the promotion should have to pay them at least their show money, whatever that is, or percentage of their show money, because it's not your fight that you came prepared as a true professional and made the weight. Now, I know it sucks having to put the promotion on the hook for that money, but they were going to pay it out regardless. And so I think a percentage of it, maybe not the full show money based on who you are. I mean, I know the show money for John Jones is a lot different than the show money for the person who's opening the prelims, but I mean, these guys, especially the ones that are coming up, they don't make a lot of money as it is. Getting through a fight camp is not cheap, no matter what people want to tell you. Now, I know there's a lot of people talking about, oh, the budget I spent $40,000. Shut your hole. There's no way you spent $40,000 on a fight camp. No way. Unless you were dumb and flew your whole corner, all your corners, all your coaches to some obscure island up in the mountains where you felt like you get the best training. Maybe that's what you did. But those guys are making way more money than the people that are making 50 and 50, 100 and 100. They're not flying everyone all around trying to get this win and spending that kind of money on it. So no, I mean, I would say I was spending anywhere between say 12 to 15 grand. And I had a nutritionist living with me, especially towards the end of my career. He was living with me for the last 4 weeks of the camp. And so that was very reasonable in terms of that's buying the food, paying out your coaches, the ones that you need.
It's a tax write-off.
It is, but it's not much of one, it is one, but it's not much of one. So, but no, I don't think you should be taking more money from the person, from giving more money to the other person. I think there should be some sort of cut. I think the commission should get less. What the commission do when the guy didn't make?
I don't think the commission should get anything.
Okay, there you go, John. I didn't want to say it.
Oh no, I've said that forever. It's like, why does the commission get it? It should all go to the opponent. You
wouldn't have that problem because look at the 80-20 split that they're at now, right? The commission gets 10 and the fighter gets 10.
Gets 10, yeah.
He doesn't get 20. If I get the full 20, then we could call that good. I'd say go ahead. If you want to leave it 80-20, commission shouldn't get anything. The guy didn't make weight. Why are you getting money for it?
Dude, I have never understood that. I've always thought that's government and that's what commissions are. So makes sense.
That's why they're run so shitty, because the government runs them.
That's it.
What else you got for us there, Dave?
All right. We'll go over your OnlyFans, get a couple of questions there. And then if you guys have any more super chats, get them in now before we finish the OnlyFans and wrap up. So go hopping over your OnlyFans. A. Pauling asks, if John and Josh were put in charge of venue booking and matchmaking for the UFC, what would change?
Wait, say that again.
If we were put in charge of venue
booking
and matchmaking, what in the UFC would change?
Nothing, man. These guys fucking crush it.
I know. I'm going to be honest. As far as venues, here's the one thing but they're kind of doing it is I would get away from the Apex. I would completely get away from the Apex, and I would take all the fight nights on the road to cities that are out there in Idaho, in Montana. I would hit up. I would go. They're going to Utah with a big show. I would go to Nebraska. I would go to Kentucky. I would go to I would do the things like the Fight for the Troops things. Those are things that I think it helps with a fan base, and it helps the fans feel like they're part of something. Get away from the Apex for a while. If you want to go back there every now and then, you got the Dana White Contender Series that plays out of there and stuff. That's the only real difference that I think I would try to put in there. As far as matchmaking, man, those guys are working their asses off. I know people don't understand what it's like to have basically 700 people on a roster. Okay. And then you've got when you sign those people, you're guaranteeing them 3 bookings. Okay. 3 bookings for the year. And now they can, as soon as they, turn down a fight, okay, that booking's gone. But if they don't, that's a filled spot. And it is so difficult when you take a look at how many fights they have and how many spots there are on those cards. It is such a difficult job. And I think that Mick Maynard and Sean Shelby do a phenomenal job.
Yeah.
Putting most of those cards, some cards, Josh and I will even talk about, hey, look, this is following up a big pay-per-view. You can't expect a whole lot. This is one of those cards that got to get people fights. And that's what they're doing, but for the most part, they do a great job.
No, I would agree with you 100%. In terms of getting away from the Apex, I would agree with that also. I would like to see them share the wealth a little bit, like you said, in Omaha and Boise, hit
Smaller
the small
markets.
towns, Spokane, Washington, the smaller markets. Look, even the NFL is doing what they can to expand themselves worldwide.
Sure.
They're having shows in games in Brazil, games in the UK. They're trying to get themselves out there. And there's a reason for it. They want to try to make the NFL worldwide. UFC has been able to be worldwide, but they've also got to start putting themselves in those smaller markets. Take your smaller cards, maybe with one big main event, and then make the rest of the card just so. Those people, they've done this before. That's how they branched out so well in the beginning, is that they were hitting all the little smaller markets. But now that they're at a level where we don't need to hit those smaller markets. Well, you can still hit those smaller markets with lower level fighters that are still trying to make their come up. You've got some fighters that you could utilize. And if you want to take guys that are just coming off the Dana White Contender Series or coming out of the Ultimate Fighter House, why don't you guys, why don't they start doing something where the Ultimate Fighter guys fight the Dana White Contender Series fighters, and they go on the road and they have them challenge each other or something like that, just for fun. I don't know. It's just something in the Omaha area. I keep going back to Omaha.
You like Omaha.
I know. But I'm saying
Omaha.
There's places that you can hit that are out there. Hit Cincinnati, hit, different parts of Ohio, different parts of Nebraska, different parts of, why not I know it probably doesn't have a huge market. Do something in Montana. You can do it kind of down on the southern border there on the southern part of the state.
You go to Missoula,
Montana.
you can go to Helena.
Yeah, you can hit those little corner areas where you can get some people from Idaho, some people from Utah, some people from Montana, Wyoming. You can get people to travel into those locations if they're right towards the state line. So anyways, look, but who are we to tell them what to do? Because they are the bosses of the promotion world. And I think you and I have said it so many damn times. I don't think there's a promoter out there that's as good as Dana White and the guys that are running that show. Their PR team that they have is the best in the world. And they're the best at creating content. They're the best at creating the flyers and all the other stuff that come out. They're always the next level above. They're doing a great job, a fantastic job. In terms of the fighters and matchmaking, I know I could go back to the conversation I had with Joe Silva. It's not easy. He's got, at 150 fighters in the lightweight division. He shows me the top 15 or top 20 guys, and like 12 of them are injured, or 12 of them can't fight. One's getting married. 5 of them are injured. Some are just come off a fight. It's like not ready to fight yet. Like, it's not easy. It's not an easy job to do. So when you're searching for those guys to fight in the top, it's just difficult to find fights. So these Hunter Campbell, Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, they're doing a fantastic job. Can't knock it. Nothing else I can say.
That's it.
What else?
All right, we'll take this last one from Andy. I'm gonna cut it down, and Andy,
Okay.
we can't read like 2 paragraphs. We'll be here all night. But Andy says
Fucking Andy, man, come on, shorten it up, buddy.
He asked you about your 135, your top 5 135ers in the past. Says who's your top 5 now that some time has passed. He has Patchy Mix at number 1, Marab at number 2, Umar at number 3, Sandhagen at number 4, and Peter Yan at number 5.
Mm-hmm.
It's a good list. I'm gonna tell you
Yeah.
right now, it's a great list, but I think you're taking a guy in Sean O'Malley and you're dumping him off the list because of he lost to Merab. Okay, but Sugar Sean O'Malley is going to be around for a while, and he's going to come back, and you're going to see him being in that top 5. And to put right now Peter Yan ahead of Sugar Sean, I'm not too sure he's not fighting enough to do that.
Mm. You know, John, let me revert back to the rankings here.
I got you.
Oh yeah, there you go. Podcast Dave's got me here. So look, I'm actually gonna go with Patchy Mix also as number 1.
I'm gonna go with. I'm fine with that.
I'm gonna go with Merab number 2.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with Umar number 3.
Yep.
And then it's kind of a mix in the rest there. I mean, I could put in Devison Figueiredo, I could put in Corey Sandhagen, I could put in Peter Yan.
Who do you think wins between Figueiredo and Sandhagen? Who would you pick? They're going to match up. Who are you going to take?
I'm probably going to take Figgy.
I'm going to take Sandhagen.
Yeah, I understand why.
No, I understand why you would take it, but I would take Sandhagen.
Yeah, I would probably lean towards Figgy. I think the speed, the wrestling is there. I know that Umar had a hard time getting Sandhagen down, especially early in the fight.
Mm-hmm.
It was very difficult. But I think that Figgy is figuring it out.
Oh, he's good. I'm not taking anything away from him. He's fighting better right now than I think he's fought in a long time. And I think the 135 is a much better weight class for his frame and everything instead of trying to lose and going to 125. I
agree. Look, it's a toss-em fight. But right now, I'm really at the top 3 there. I'm at Patchy Mix, Merab, Umar. And I also I probably would maybe even knowing, I would probably throw in Magomedov. He's just a danger to everybody.
He is.
I know you gave me the little, but he just had a great fight with Patchy Mix.
He did, but it was a second fight, and he had a different game plan, and they did a great job. But he's been submitted by Patchy Mix.
Okay, but he's also 1-1 with Peter Yan, who's ranked number 3. So that's where I'm having a hard time jumping him.
I agree with you as far as that, but you take a look and you say, how are you dropping Sean O'Malley so far down off of one fight?
I could put Sean right there at number 3 and then put Magomedov, or not 3, but 4. So let's put Sean. I put Sean below Umar. After the reason why I would drop Sean from the top 2 or 3 is only based on the performance.
I'm okay you dropping him in the top 2, 3. But there's no way that he gets left out of the top 5.
No, there's no way. I can't do that to him.
That's what I'm saying.
No, there's no way. And I would have him ranked ahead. I don't have Peter Yan on my list. I mean, now that I add Magomedov,
that's my whole point.
I don't have Peter on my list. And if I did have Pete, I don't have him. I got Patchy Mix, Merab, Umar, Sean, and probably Magomedov.
Okay.
And just Magomed to me is, I know he doesn't look the best when it comes to his style of kickboxing and fighting on the feet and this and that, but man, the guy's good everywhere. Okay. He's good everywhere. He's got grappling, he's got wrestling, he's got submissions. His stand-up is it's weird. It's unorthodox. It comes from all different angles. The spinning back kicks, spinning kicks, and the way he chains his wrestling and his striking together. I'm going to put those guys in there. I think those are your guys. Devison Figueiredo's in there. Corey's in there. Peter's in there. They're in that top mix, and Henry.
Yep.
They're all in that mix there. So, you got one more for us there, Dave, I think.
Yeah, Zeke hits us with one more super chat here. Question. Alan Perez, and then in parentheses, Twerk Girl. I don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Had a bad weight cut, could barely stand on the scale, but still won the fight. Should the commission step in situations like that?
I saw the video, and she actually said I was acting. I was just trying to act, that way. It's like, I don't think so. But I've seen where you see fighters that have a hard time getting on the scale, we'll say, and every time, no matter what, those fighters are looked at by a ringside physician, and the commission will make a determination on what the ringside physician says off of it. And normally the ringside physician says, well, let's get some fluids in them. Let's see how they're going to be. I just want to see them in an hour. And so they go off and start putting fluids in. And by that time, they're able to pass it and stuff. So yeah, you know, I think she was. She went out and this is the other part. Look, she missed weight. I'm not going to sit here and say anything about it. She missed it, but 136 is making it, and she was 136.5. It's a half pound, okay, but it's not like it's the 2 pounds, 3 pounds, 4 pounds that we're seeing from a lot of other people. It was a half pound comparison.
Yeah.
So, and she went out there and look, she looked good in her fight. She absolutely did what she was supposed to do to get the win and got it fast. So
there's something to be said about when you deplete your body. It's has something to do with the depth perception. Like your eyes don't focus as well. Your balance is not there. You're depleted in terms of energy. Your muscle strength doesn't feel as strong. Getting on and off that scale can be a little weird because it moves a little bit, especially these type of scales they use with a little
triple
what do
beam.
they call it? Yeah, the little beam.
Triple beam.
And so when you get on it, it's a little wobbly at first. And I think people are just, hey, look, I'm already feeling a little shaky. And then I step up there. That's why you see them get on 1 foot at a time, nice and gingerly.
Slowly.
Yeah, I mean, nobody wants to get hurt right before their fight like Tony Ferguson. Everyone wants to just go ahead and just get on nice and gingerly, make sure you make the weight, and then move on and get some food on you. So I agree with what John's saying. If you make the weight and the commission says, hey, you're not looking good, I think what we should do is get you some fluid, see how you react in an hour or two, and we won't make any harsh decisions based off of this. Because I remember times watching Gleason Tebow, literally his corners carrying him and walking him from the sauna to the weigh-ins, and then saying, hey, you need to just stand up and walk yourself to the scale. I mean, I've seen it. Anthony Rumble Johnson cut tons of weight, and I had to sometimes he would hold my hand, hold my wrist, and he would just kind of use me as a balance measure because you just don't, you feel a little off, your equilibrium feels a little
off. Way off.
Yeah. So, and especially when you're cutting that much weight. So I got to the point in some fights where I sometimes had to get myself, driven from the sauna to home to shower, rinse off, whatever it was, and then get in, have someone drive me to the weigh-ins because most of my stuff was in San Jose. You got one more else for us there, Dave?
Yep. Alex Johnson chimes in at the last minute here. Alex Johnson works for the company that makes attachments for Big John's Kubota tractor. Big thanks, John. After how many fights in the top 15 should hype trains like a Paddy or Hamzat, etc., get a title shot?
Say that again.
Yeah, sorry. Did you get his comment in the start? He just wanted to tell you that he works for the company that makes sure.
Great product. Thank you very much. I'm happy with it. Go.
Awesome. After how many fights in the top 15 should hype trains like Paddy or Hamzat and others get a title shot?
And this is, we talked about this with Brendan Schaub on our, when we interviewed him, and he said it absolutely right. People are in such a rush to push people like Paddy into that championship fight. And it's like, why are you pushing him? He's being smart. He's doing things the right way. The UFC is doing things the right way with him. Paddy Pimblett has come into the UFC. There was holes in his game when he came in. He's slowly and effectively taking those holes and patching them. So he is a better fighter, now 5 fights down the road than he was when he entered. He's going to be a better fighter if he continues on and takes another 3 fights, which I think he needs, but he's being smart because it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And when you are in that position of Paddy, he's fighting people that he should be fighting. When you look at, people thought, oh, he can't beat Tony Ferguson, and he beats him. But Tony is an older fighter who is on the downside of his career, like, Josh was talking when he fought Tony. So it was understandable why Paddy beats him. Then he goes against Bobby King, right?
Yep.
Boom. King Green, everyone's saying Bobby was going to beat him. Nope. He, puts the submission up, gets him. He's doing everything the right way.
Yeah.
Don't push him too fast. He is a special, I don't want to say talent. He's got that it factor, though, when it comes to fighters. There's people that love him. There's people that hate him. And that's the guy that puts butts in the seats because people want to see him. They either want to see him win or they want to see him lose. And there's no reason to rush him. I don't think the UFC has rushed him. I think they've done a great job of matching him up correctly. They've given him tough fights. It's, hey, sink or swim, yes, but not in that fashion that, hey, I'm having you sink or swim here and you got to jump off the 90-foot cliff first.
Yeah.
Okay. So I actually think they've done a great job with Patty.
I also think there's levels to his contract right now. You know, I'm sure he's making good money, but I think there's levels to his contract. Why would I want to make the jump all the way up to these guys that are in the top rankings, knowing that I can't go anywhere but back?
There you
So
go.
I want to get paid to fight these top guys. That's one. Sean O'Malley did it the right way when he did it.
Yep.
You know, he waited till he got a big contract, then he fought Peter Yan, came out with the win, and then moved forward, then became champion. Patty also too. I agree with you. His confidence since beating Tony and then beating Bobby Green, he looks cleaner. He looks more fluid on the feet. He looked more relaxed. He attacked that submission real quick with Bobby. Put his lights out. Whole thing is done. He is now starting to understand the level in which he's fighting. Now it's just a matter of, I think, to get the money right, get his contract right, and then start making his gains on where they're going to have him fight. Who are they going to have him fight? We went through the rankings a little bit with Schaub, which you guys can go through on that show when we release it. But look, there are guys in here for him to fight. There's no easy fights. Moicano's a tough fight, which we just saw against Benoit Saint-Denis. But then you're going to go into, say, someone like a Benil Dariush, a Gamrot. I don't think is a good fight for him.
No.
Benil Dariush is not it's not an easy fight. Depending on where Benil is at right now.
Yeah.
I like the Michael Chandler and the Dan Hooker fights for him.
I like the Conor McGregor.
And I love the Conor McGregor fight. I said that 2 months ago.
Yeah.
You know, I love that fight for him. Love it. I think he's got to get a win first in an upper echelon kind of fighter before Conor would say, you know what, let's make this happen. Because I think that realistically, that has an opportunity and a chance, maybe not with the new pay-per-view numbers, but that has an opportunity to hit, I think, 1.6 on the pay-per-view buys. That's a big number for right now with the UFC. Big number, 1.6.
Huge number.
So if you match him up properly, if he gets a win against someone like a top 5 fighter, a Dan Hooker or Michael Chandler or Benil Dariush, that's 5, 6, and 7, then you say, hey, Conor, I really want this fight. UFC says we're going to throw some money at you. Let's make this fight happen. That's probably one of the biggest fights in recent history since the Khabib fight with Conor. That's my 2 cents on that.
Yeah, I agree.
Hey guys, we want to thank you guys so much for joining us and for this live chat. We will be doing this on Tuesday nights, 9:30 Eastern Central Time. And sorry, my throat's a little hoarse this week, and I'm struggling. Hey, go to WayneMerch.com, pick up some of our apparel available there, and hopefully you guys will continue to support us the way you have. I appreciate you guys giving us the super chats and tipping us and giving us some money. We love that. That all goes to Podcast Dave normally. So we got to pay for his gas from his.
We got to pay for this man. He's got kids.
Yeah, he's gonna have to wait till they start playing sports, man. Holy cow! But hey, we're enjoying this, and Tuesday nights will be our live chat. So make sure you guys don't miss out. Tell all your friends about it. Make sure they keep coming. And like I said before, this episode is brought to you by BetUS. Want to thank them for continuing to support us. OnlyFans. Join us over at OnlyFans. Subscribe to us over there. It is free. And of course, the last one, LMNT. Great hydration product that we love to use. 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, 60 milligrams of magnesium. Pick up your box with our link down below. And there's the hat right there. Also, with every purchase, you guys use our link for LMNT. They'll send you a bonus package, a sample pack of all the other sample sizes or sample product that they have available for you guys. So thank you guys so much for supporting us. And John, take us away, buddy.
And for everyone out there, do me a favor, please give a prayer for all the people out in North Carolina that have lost everything that they have. Some have lost lives. They're in a hard time. Think of them, give them a prayer, and we will see you.